I want to start off by saying RIP to Young Dolph, man, and welcome back to the channel. I got some breaking news update from the sources in Memphis, man. This is going to affect everybody. Big Moochie Grape, Angela Simmons, Yo Gotti.
Exactly, and that's what made them get scared is because when they saw Marcus Thornton, they didn't think that Dolph was gonna come there with somebody else. They thought they had cut the phone lines in the service of everybody else that Dolph was gonna call. That's why when he said that to ride with Key Glock, he told them clearly to their face, and people did not listen. That's why people have to pay attention and look at the fact that he wanted them to be riding with Key Glock in case he called Key Glock. It's gonna be two people that pull up because it's two people that came to the window, and none of this is everything that's being told by the cookie manager is not accounting for the fact that the windows got blown out before the two guys came out that vehicle and escaped. Nothing is going to go back and prove that. That's why they want to see the actual evidence from the operation that was going on. If they don't have the body cam there to show the fact that the person there first responding seen that Dolph was still moving, and the fact that he was trying to tell them who was the people that did this. He said, look at the person behind me. He was trying to let them know and point that it was inside the store. That's the only reason why
Blac Youngsta told them, y'all can't come in here. He ain't let Yo Gotti them in BGE studio, y'all. Y'all gotta really understand. He instantly, he brushed him right off. He instantly told Yo Gotti that you don't never tell nobody who you working for. Like at the end of the day, you gotta really understand what's really going on, because that was a strategic move in the way that he was rubbing his face with his shirt. Y'all already know he ain't want him in there. And hey, I want y'all to really understand what's really going on.
exactly the only reason he would be rubbing his face with his shirt is if he ran out the back of the cookie shop. Whoever was that guy that actually ran past 901 Trick or Treat car and got stopped at the car wash directly across the street from MPD, that's the same person who was wiping their face with the t-shirt. But at that point, he threw the t-shirt in the bushes. When they recovered the 11 items that was related to Young Dolph and had the hounds sniff it out, they matched that Chrome Heart bag to 11 different items that was scattered throughout Memphis, including the jewelry and the fact that his teacher was the one that came out and said that it was an identical match. They looked at the fact that this didn't happen too far from the Makedas, and everybody running from that gas station knew one thing for sure was that to get this on footage. Because if you know anything about places like where Makedas is, they don't keep cameras there for a reason in case anything is on them. You got to understand that down in the South, places like over there in Texas, when they keep it on them and they have to blow back, there's no way that they could prove the defense if you in the wrong and that you got the cameras. Now you could say anything that you want. It could be a situation where somebody could come in and you might have been the person that started it, and the fact that there was no cameras to show that it wasn't actually happening like that, they had to take your word for it, because sometimes when the police report come out and they got the manager there to sign off on it, they know that that's the official witness.
Paper Raul told Snoop Bands, boy, we gonna split Young Dolph bread 1.2 million a piece, and then we gonna take the other 4 million and we gonna dump that into the label. Like they started their own label. I want y'all to really pay attention to what's going on, because me and Jay already said all Young Dolph assets gonna get splitted up. It's gonna get splitted up to Snoop Bands, Key Glock, Big Moochie Grape, and y'all already know the top op, Paper Raul. Paper Raul was the main one who they said was there. I don't know where Paper Raul was, but they said Big Jet Truck was across the street. They said that straight dropping Cornelius Smith, they was right there hopping out the Benz coupe. Y'all gotta understand, man. Y'all gotta really look at what's going on, because these the same people who said that the brown truck, that 901 Trick or Treat Drive, was across the street. Y'all gotta really pay attention to that, because in all actual reality, the feds, when they come get you, they don't play no games, man. When you out in the streets and you doing what you doing, man, they don't play no games, man. In all actual reality, we can really look at it for what it is and take full heed to the fact that Big Moochie Grape he supposedly quote unquote trailed Young Dolph. And a lot of people say, yeah, we saw Big Moochie Grape. He was in that Tahoe, and then he hopped in the car with Young Dolph after they pulled up to Roof Chris.
And Mia J, she tried to do everything that she could to stop the two guys before they left Memphis. But the fact that I want to thank Mia J for everything that she did, because if Young Dolph is going to be remembered for anything, it's going to be that he was trying to provide for his family and he was paying for a lot of people's bills. Like, he was taking care of half the city of Memphis, and the fact that Mia J stood tall through this and she tried to tell Paper Raul to basically go ahead and turn himself in to the fact that he has to tell what he saw. If he was in the back of the car that was following Dolph, then you know that you had to see what was happening in front of him. Just because somebody was catching a ride and they wasn't involved in anything that was going on doesn't mean that they had their eyes closed and didn't see what happened.
And we already know for a fact, CMG, they already got raided once. They got raided a second time, and they didn't find nothing. Y'all gotta understand, them feds ain't playing no games, because Glorilla, she already revealed everything about Yo Gotti. She revealed Yo Gotti, he was out there with them people, boy. He was at Privé, man. And they already said that it pinged his T-Mobile phone. Y'all gotta understand, he got an iPhone 13 at the time. They pinged his phone, man, and it went straight to Privé. And that's all, like in all actuality, that's his people shop, man. And Big Jook, that's where they picked Big Jook up at.
Exactly. And when Big Jook got picked up, the person that got dropped off, that's when they seen Young Dolph. And this didn't happen too far from where the gas station was. The person on Facebook that recorded the video, they know something weird was going on when the fact that the guys who was yelling at Young Dolph trying to get his attention, but as soon as Dolph turned his head, they hid behind the tent. That's why when they took that snapshot, Young Dolph was looking over his shoulder because he knew somebody was about to get him. And within at least 24 hours from that moment on, they know it was the final hours. And that's why a lot of people knew that. They seen the ticker tape at the bottom of the news that was explaining the full story, but they didn't want to put it out there. Jeremy Pierre was the only person in charge of this whole entire investigation on this. And that's why a lot of people was looking at him like, why hasn't it been complete yet?
And a lot of people not paying attention to the fact that the feds released the evidence already, and Mia J, she wasn't too happy about what she seen. They said in the unsealed document, Key Glock was the main one who real live put the GPS device on Young Dolph car right there under the tire wheel. Y'all gotta really understand, it's all metal right there, man. He got all bulletproof, man. And when anything bulletproof is metal involved, y'all gotta really look at what's going on, man. And the way the magnet work, it instantly sticks to any surface.
And if y'all know anything about how they try to do the GPS with the cars, you know that's how the repo man ends up finding the whole thing. The repo man is undefeated in the hood. That's why you got people chasing after him, jumping on cars and sitting in the car seat and everything while the dude is taking him down the street. They only need 2.7 seconds to hook and unhook and take everything away. That's why people park backwards and sideways and turn their wheels. But now they got technology and mechanisms that you could put on the car tire to straighten the wheels out. That's why they chose the wheel well for Dolph in the back. It's rear wheel drive. They know the back tires is going to be hot and the GPS is going to be heat resistant to the cold. The fact that that's how the tow truck got there so quick. They pulled the car out the lot before they even got Young Dolph into the ambulance to get him out of there, because everybody seen and was recording that video of the car going by, and who knows how they got that back, because the only person with the ID and the registration to Dolph's car would be Dolph. So how did they get that at the junkyard? How did they get it at the impound if Dolph ID and registration isn't there? That's why when the reports came out, you could go back and binge watch this. When they found Dolph's wallet in the bushes and they already had the spare key, that's all they needed to go up there to the actual impound junkyard and get it out of there. Because the people behind the counter, they don't know that Young Dolph's real name is with Thornton at the end.
You feel me? Adolf. People already know how Adolph was rocking. And Adolph, he realized, y'all can't even lie, man. He helped a lot of people in Memphis. And Yo Gotti, they said that, y'all already know, they said that Mia J, she was the main one who tried to keep her distance from anybody who was basically hanging out with them, man. And y'all already know what I'm talking about, man. Raving them, man. Y'all don't want nobody who been in 901 Trick or Treat garage. Y'all don't want nobody who rode past their house. None of that. She ain't want none of them around, man. And this would keep Key Glock out of harm's way. A lot of people said that Key Glock, he been taking trips and that. Key Glock been going out of state. He been going to Miami for spring break. Y'all gotta understand what's really going on because he trying to stay out of the limelight of the hood.
And when Mia J tried to warn young Dolph about the fact that her sister Michelle J was actually hanging out and shopping with Angela Simmons. They went to Privé together. And all of them, the fact that Moneybagg Yo and Yo Gotti, they got the Privé, they got the restaurant, the Catch 42 and everything like that, with 42 Doug busting the tables and everything and getting everything moving like that. So the fact that they had those, the only place Dolph could go to was the Makedas because he knows that he done had to actually make it a whole charade and disguise it with the high prices and everything. And so that's why Yo Gotti and them never went there because they didn't want to be shopping nowhere that you could buy things for $2 to $3. And it's rare to find anything right now. With gas prices and being at $9 an hour, the people who was following Young Dolph had to be committed to this whole entire thing. It was transactions that was already seen when the fact that Govan was wired $90,000 to take the bond out. And they found that the same ending 4 digits to that same wire was the same one that sent the $40,000 that Grove Hero discovered Big Jook put on all their heads. And they was collecting a ransom for every PRE chain. That's why when OG Bangwang came out, he went to the bulletin board. The first thing that he did when he pulled out on 7th Street and he seen the fact that the people was hanging out there, they said that they wanted $10K for every PRE chain because Johnny Dang was giving out a good deal on gold at that time. All they had to do was get a $175 flight to Houston. And as soon as they checked in with Jay Prince, everything was good to go for them to go take them chains down to Johnny Dang and smelt it down. One thing you got to understand is that Young Dolph left $1 million worth of jewelry to Big Moochie Grape, Snoop Bands, Key Glock, PRE Woo, Bankroll Freddy. And, you know, a lot of people saying that the RICO on Bankroll Freddy was the reason why they was really looking into CMG because they know who he was involved with. At this point, when business is business, it don't matter what side you on. Everybody knows that when it comes to getting money that you have to put all that to the side. And so the fact that they seen and they put him on the actual tape going and into CMG and they got him on the sting operation, that's how they took that whole thing down. And I want to say that to the family and everything like that. Thank you for trying to help with the whole thing with Dolph because at this point, everybody knows that the justice of Dolph is coming. When this trial comes out and Key Glock gets there and he's going to take the stand to actually say what he did and didn't know about the situation with the music video. Everybody gonna have to face the truth at some point and realize that they're gonna ask them why they did not show up to the music video, and they want to make sure that the first interview matches up with the second interview. That's how they caught the Makedas people on the whole spinoff about the fact that it was inside, outside the store, and that Maurice was there, Maurice wasn't. The fact that if Keosha James wasn't there, we would have never known that Lincoln was in the corner of the parking lot the whole time. Everybody was taking a picture in front of the Makedas store, standing in the middle of the parking lot. If you would have took 4 steps back, you would have ran into the Lincoln. It's 20 feet long. How could anybody have missed that? And the fact that they try to say that Maurice was part of the Dolph case is strange. It's strange to think that why would the man say that he was walking in through the back of the store when we seen him exiting through the front? And when they talked to him on the sidewalk, who was he on the phone with at that point? Because if they didn't hit the button, what's the point of him having to call in and ask them to send more units if one hasn't arrived yet? The fact that Dolph artists didn't actually get hit up until after Key Glock came around is a warning sign to the fact that PRE needs to get everything straightened out with CMG, Yo Gotti, and Blac Youngsta. Because right now, they looking at him right now, and they on the same black and white paperwork with Govan's name underneath them as a co-defendant.
And everybody know for a fact that they under investigation. And the MPD, they already told them what they saw. They already told them what they saw in that footage before Makedas Blac and them sold it. And y'all gotta understand, they sold that footage to them people, boy. They sold them footage to Big Jook, and Big Jook he got it up out of there. He had it on a hard drive, and then he got it up out of there. He ain't want nobody finding that because everybody already know for a fact Makedas Blac and them, they had access to the back of Makedas where the camera was, and the camera was at the front of the door. Y'all gotta understand, that camera that was outside that saw straight dropping them running up, but didn't see Young Dolph laying on that floor. Y'all gotta really understand, man. This is something that you all really gotta pay attention to and open your eyes to, man, because Glorilla is the main one who told PRE Woo, man, why would you pull up like that, man? You know for a fact that Mud Baby Ray don't play no games, man. I'ma just say that. You know Mud Baby Ray gonna ride with Dolph regardless, man. RIP Dolph, man. At the end of the day, we know for a fact Dolph is the main one who sit back. He take care of his business. He do what he gotta do, man. And Dolph know for a fact PRE, they still gonna do what they gotta do as long as Big Moochie Grape don't realize, like, get taken out the game, man, because the way that he beefing in his own hood, you can't beef with your own hood, man. You cannot beef with your own hood and still live in the hood because the same people, they gonna backdoor him. Like at the end of the day, Blac Youngsta, he had his mouth open on this one, man. His mouth dropped on this one because he didn't think that PRE Woo was gonna do that.
And they were saying way back in the day that Young Dolph was going to be the biggest thing in Tennessee since Elvis Presley. And that's why Yo Gotti wanted to really get him under CMG. He brought Jay-Z in. He flew him in from the Bronx to actually get him to sit down. But the fact that Young Dolph knew what he knew he is going to be the next person up there, like as big as Jay-Z. And so the fact that people don't like the fact that you look at it and they came down and Yo Gotti and Jay-Z really thought that they was going to have everything go as planned. But Yo Gotti did not mention the fact that he did not get full authorization from Big Jook and CEO Daddy-O to actually go and sit down and try to say that to Dolph. When Blac Youngsta came out, it was a whole thing about how he had 23 different disses on Dolph right from the jump, and that's why Yo Gotti signed him. And they didn't understand that this all has connection to the fact that Key Glock at the time was around and he was really beefing with Lil Migo. And so when they picked him up, they knew that this was a full out versus battle in Memphis over who was going to be the next big thing. And I don't blame Young Dolph for trying to stand up and actually take Big Moochie Grape and everybody like Key Glock out of that situation, because one thing you got to understand is that they don't want to get in the mix of this whole thing. Makedas was supposed to be a neutral ground. They was uninvolved with everything. But as soon as Makedas Raven stepped up and said that she declared with CMG and 901 Trigger Trey picked a side, that's when they knew it was going to be a moment of days before everything came out. The first place Finesse 2 Times went to pay his respect was at the Dolph mural. And then the next day, somebody came and painted it all over with gray and signals.
And we know for a fact that Finesse 2 Time brother, No Love, he the main one who told Lil Baby, you better stay away from everybody who in PRE, man, because Lil Baby was trying to do a feature with Big Moochie Grape, and this is why Big Moochie Grape had the feud with them. Y'all gotta understand they had their own beef, and I don't understand why they can't keep beefing like that when in all actual reality, okay, y'all PRE, man, they CMG. Can't get mad at that, man. Like at the end of the day, you really gotta pay attention to that, because in all actual reality, this is a revolving door, and we have to really understand that. You gotta open your eyes to the fact of what's really going on, man. These people sit back looking at the fact that Big Moochie Grape, he is not in the right position to realize go out there and do nothing to Govan when he know Govan just got out. These people can't sit back and do that. Like at the end of the day, a lot of allegations was on them people, boy. And them people is Moneybag Yo supporting everything that went on with Big Jook.
And the fact that no major rapper has came to Memphis ever since Young Dolph. They think it's turning into a situation just like Jay Prince Jr., where now if somebody like Rollo, once Rollo gets out, him and Gucci Man gonna have to go to Memphis and straighten everything out. For Big Scar, man, I want to send the condolences to Big Scar and his family and everybody tied in with that. Because when somebody comes in, they're not gonna want to check in with Yo Gotti. They never had to do that before. And Big Jook does not have no type of pull anywhere in any other territory. So they know that everything is limited. Before the RICO comes out and they really get out there in the helicopters and Apaches and come out the storm drains and sewers to sneak up and actually round up all 57 members of CMG, they're gonna finally have to actually get there, and we're gonna know who's gonna tell and who's not.
In all actual reality, we know for a fact that it's too many people who gonna snitch before anything, because they said Govan got locked up. The pressure bust the pipes. Next thing you know, Big Jook get locked up 2 days after Govan get booked. Now you tell me, did he snitch or not? And this is coming straight from Mississippi, you guys.
And if ETSG, he on the feds already. So the fact that this RICO coming, that I understand why he wanted to move back to Kentucky with his auntie. Because he would have signed the 1017 if he would have known that the RICO was going to be coming about this, because it was on basically ETSG got signed right before the Dolph situation. And how you think that they had the money to do everything like that?
And we already know the real reason why Young Dolph, he never wanted to sign nobody from Memphis after he signed Big Moochie Grape cousin.
Because Big Moochie Grape cousin is the last person in the last final piece that they needed for the PRE collective. This is what's going to put everything into the whole entire Hall of Fame. And because